Good morning. Actually, sorry, good afternoon. Thank you for joining us for our welcoming of Oliver David back to Dubuque as head coach of the Fighting Saints. Appreciate all of our partners coming out here today, media, as well as corporate partners, fans. Thank you for coming out and joining us. We're excited for another season to get underway here for the Dubuque Fighting Saints. My name is Katie Keeney. I'm the vice president of the Dubuque Fighting Saints, and I'm thrilled right now to introduce our managing partner, Brad Kwong, to come up and speak a little bit more about the process of hiring Oliver.
Thank you, everyone. It's a real special day. We've had a few of these special days in the past, as you all know, and for us, a lot of people have asked me, isn't it just a huge pain in the you-know-what to do this? And my answer is always, to a certain extent, yes, but it's so rewarding that we're doing it each time, that we're moving on our coaches to bigger and better things and bring in new people like Oliver today to take the torch and bring us to newer and higher levels. So I'm excited to be here today. Oliver's a good friend to all of us. The search wasn't very large at all. In fact, there was no search. When we knew Jason was moving on, Ollie was pretty much one of the only persons that we talked to. There was one other person we talked to that was a very good friend of one of our past coaches, and we thought he'd be a great candidate as well in the future. But Ollie was the guy that we had targeted right from the start. So with that, obviously welcome back, Oliver. Welcome all of you to be here. It's great to have you here. As you know, we've got a tradition of success in Dubuque, and that tradition extends long before our ownership group came back to Dubuque in 2010-11. But our goal continues to be successful, and we want to do everything we can to give our hockey staff the opportunity to be successful on the ice and off the ice. So with this hiring, which I'll talk about in a minute, but importantly, the hockey staff that we've built around Oliver, with the promotion of Callie Larson to GM, but Matt Millar, Nick Hart, Ross Horman, and our good friend Philip Rhodes, we built a staff that we believe is elite in all of junior hockey. And I mean that not only just the USHL, but I mean all of junior hockey. So we're really happy with what we have here now today and moving forward, and we're really excited about it. The staff is going to strive for success, but in doing so, we always place a high emphasis on the development of our players and our staff. And incumbent in that development is the development of character. And since we started this, that was one of the preeminent things that we wanted to focus on, is the development of character, team character and individual character. And that's something that I know Ollie and the staff will focus on with much sincerity with our players, and that's really going to be one of the main things that we want them to emphasize. The great thing about focusing on character development is that it's not mutually exclusive from success, and we've seen that with our past coaches, Monty, Matt, and Jason, all great coaches, but all men that focus on the character of the player. And we're confident that Oliver, a man himself of great character, is going to carry that torch. It's funny, when I remember looking at Ollie's resume way back when he was at Kenai, and I remember asking Matt Shaw why anyone would want to live in Kenai, let alone coach a hockey team. But I looked at his track record, and it was amazing the success he had in a market of that size in the geographic location where it was. And digging a little bit deeper, we learned a lot about Ollie and how he treated his players, how he coached them, but how he developed them, as I said earlier. That to me told me a lot. And when he came down here and I met him for the first time, his personality was very impressive. And in my mind, I remember talking to Mark Falcone about it. We kind of whispered to each other as he could be a head coach someday. and you know, we didn't think it would be here, but we're blessed that it is now. So, as I said, the ownership group's very excited about this day, about the hiring of Oliver David. I personally am very, very pleased and very happy that Ollie's back here in Dubuque, where he belongs.
That's right.
And I look forward to welcoming Danae, Odin, and Denver next time I see them. But thanks again, Oliver. Please welcome Oliver David.
Okay, guys, buckle up. This might take a few minutes. By the way, I learned everything I know about treating kids right from our two lovely ladies over there, Patty Swartz and Joanne Gibson. They're two of the best things going here in Dubuque. I'm going to tell you guys a story today, a little bit, as Brad alluded to, about how I got here. You know, it's a little different coming back to a place and having a lot of familiarity with our community, and obviously all of you are recognizable and friends of mine. So I'm going to tell a story about a little bit more about my background and how I got here. But first, a lot of thank yous, because it takes a lot of people to make something like this happen. First and foremost, I'd like to thank Dr. Field and Mr. Falb, two of our local owners and longtime contributing members to our community here in Dubuque. Obviously, thank you to Brad and Mark Falcone and the rest of the managing partners at Northern Lights Hockey. We are truly a world-class organization because of their efforts. And as you'll hear in my speech, I've been a lot of places, been around the world, and I can safely say this is legitimately a world-class destination for hockey players. Thank you to those in attendance today. This is a very special place, also because of your contributions and your continued support coming to our games, and also around the community. A lot of our players have expressed how cool it is to be recognized and be noticed for their efforts here with our hockey team. This is the hard one. It really isn't enough to say thank you to my wife. Excuse me.
Does she feel the same way?
No. She continues to support my career. From LA to Alaska, I'm from Los Angeles, Iowa to Oregon and back, she has endured. She has given birth to our two babies, as Brad mentioned. Our son Odin was born here in Iowa City, 2 years ago, and our daughter Denver was born in Oregon. I tell her I would have done it, but apparently it doesn't work that way. I want to go on record as having said that. Luckily, there was a joke in there. I'd probably still be crying, so I apologize for that. Really, really importantly, I'd like to acknowledge 3 members of our immediate hockey staff that are here with us today. Mostly because it will make Philip's face turn red. Philip's over there in the corner. Young Philip Rhodes, who apparently didn't line up his class schedule correctly. He has 1 class to go to graduate from Loras College. It's ridiculous. Joanne was not your academic advisor, that's for sure. But luckily for us, that means we get to keep Philip for at least another season. So thank you, Philip. He's entering his 3rd season here with us, and he makes a major contribution to our hockey staff. Senior staff member, but more importantly, my main man, Matt Miller, over here, has agreed to stay on and support our efforts for a 5th senior staff, 5th straight season, which basically means he just gets first right of refusal on our bus trips on his seat. I'm so proud of him and appreciate his unwavering commitment to our club, but more importantly, for being a trusted and loyal friend. Thanks, Matt. That leaves us with the big man with the beard over here in the corner, Callie Larson. Callie Larson, as Brad mentioned and we've seen on social media, is our new general manager. By the way, just in case we haven't been following along since the new ownership group last 8 seasons, it's the first time we have a separate general manager and head coach, and Callie is more than deserving of that opportunity. And I don't even know how to put a percentage on it, but a very large percent of the reason that I considered coming back was to work specifically with Callie. We have known each other since we both started in this business 9 seasons ago, basically almost down to the day we started simultaneously. Thank you to Olia, Callie's wife. I'll thank her for you, for putting up with all of this. And to you, Callie, for not sending my calls to voicemail. I'd like to thank Ross Herman, our equipment manager, for his efforts as he enters his 3rd season with us. Where's Ross? Probably in the equipment manager's dungeon, it looks like, working hard away. The equipment manager is a thankless job without a time clock, and Ross does it as well as the best of them. Last on our immediate hockey staff, Nick Hart and I are new to each other. Nick is entering his 2nd season as our athletic trainer. Great hire, as all the rest of these guys by Jason and his staff last year. I look forward to working alongside him and getting to know him as the summer progresses. Thanks, Nick, for being here. There are many supporting staff members, volunteers, and sponsors and partners that chip in to make this possible for us to exist in our community here. From all of us on the hockey staff, we thank you for your continued support. A special thanks to senior high school for putting up with our guys and continuing to work with us. Go Rams. My goal here today is obviously to give thanks. This opportunity has been made possible by the support of many people, some of which I've already mentioned. Others will be mentioned shortly. I'd also like to share a few stories from my travels, share some valuable lessons I've learned, and shed some light on where we are in preparation for the upcoming 2017-18 season. I'm humbled to know we'll be doing this together as Dubuque Fighting Saints, and I mean that sincerely. This is an incredible opportunity. I broke into junior hockey in Soldotna, Alaska, home of the Kenai River Brown Bears of the North American Hockey League. If you have no idea what I just said, which I assume most of you don't, just know that it is very, very far away from wherever you are from, most likely. We were a club, as Brad mentioned, built through volunteerism, community efforts, and ultimately the many adversities that we faced. Everything was uncomfortable, everything was hard, and everything was awesome. I want to express my sincere thanks today to all the people that were involved with the team over our 4 seasons together. And in the words of former Dubuque Fighting Saint and Kenai River Brown Bear Carson Vance on Twitter the other day, I was exactly where I needed to be to get where I am now. Thanks to Brown Bear Nation. When the opportunity to join Matt Shaw's staff in Dubuque became a reality, I packed up my Prius. It was a tight fit. I'm from Los Angeles, disclaimer, and made the drive south out of Alaska, pretty much the only way you can go. We all learned many things from Matt Shaw in our 2 years together as a staff. The 2 things that resonate with me most are his shining example of professionalism and his tireless effort to prepare for games. It is no wonder he's been able to make a career in hockey. Thanks, Matt. That said, I quickly learned it didn't end there. It was obvious that our club's tradition of winning games and developing student athletes for the next level was a team effort, one held together by 3 key people, without which our boys would not reach their goals. Patty Schwartz, our housing coordinator, Joanne Gibson, our academic advisor, and Katie Keeney, our Vice President of Business Operations, are the glue that bind us together. It goes without saying, which is usually what my wife prefers of me to do, not talk. Thank you for not running for the hills when you heard that I'd be back. At least not yet. When Jason Lammers was hired as our new bench boss in my third season, I was excited. We knew each other prior to working together in Dubuque, but not so much in a professional setting. As many of you have had the privilege to discover, Jason is an exceptional human being and a true leader. Once we settled in and got going, it was apparent that we would all benefit from simply being in his presence. Jason's unwavering faith and belief in his values is unprecedented. Our year together ended in the Clark Cup final. As many of you know, not with a win, but the impact of our season together will last a career. For that, I thank you, Jason. Good luck with your new post as the head coach of Niagara University. That sounds cold to me, but hopefully you enjoy it. As many of you may not know, I had the privilege of spending last season with the Portland Winterhawks of the Western Hockey League as an assistant coach on Mike Johnston's staff. As many of you do know, Mike Johnston is a longtime NHL coach, with his most recent stint being a head coach at that level. But that isn't the coolest thing. The coolest thing is to have experienced the game through his eyes, to watch him manage the club and do so with an ease and trust level that can only be attested to a man that occupies a space in the game that few can, was extraordinary. A big thanks to Mike and his assistant GM, Matt Bardsley, for bringing me into the fold. They are two of the best at what they do in our game. Thanks, guys. As we wind down today, I'd like to take a few moments to talk about what you can expect from us moving forward. I cannot tell you exactly how we will play because I don't know. We don't have a team yet, and we have yet to round out our coaching staff. More on that shortly. Ultimately, our personnel will dictate some of what we do. I can tell you what I find beautiful about the game has some inherent risk and potentially great reward. For the international media here today, there isn't any. I'll give you a little tagline. No matter our system, we will work to play with an outlasting offense and a disruptive defense. We will build our attack through the neutral zone with all players involved. Our goal will be to play a fun and exciting game. There are enough sports where athletes stand around. I think the dynamics of our game are special and beautiful and unique to hockey in a lot of ways. Therefore, our aim will be to conceptualize how to accomplish playing the ultimate team game where everyone has an opportunity to make a contribution every shift. Furthermore, as Brad alluded to, everything we do will be about our players. The players are the priority, and the day-to-day is the way. It is just as important to our staff that we contribute to the overall development of each player as it is to be standing next to Commissioner Bob Fallon of our great United States Hockey League in the spring every May. In closing, junior hockey is a stepping stone, the USHL a transitional league to the college ranks and beyond. As coaches and as supporting staff members, we are in a unique position to affect, either positively or negatively, a person's life in a way that changes the course of their life. Much like parenting, so I'm failing at, but trying to learn. It's very difficult for anyone out there who doesn't have children. Philip. We will strive to get it right, to give and help our players grow, to teach and reach every day. Thank you.